Welcome to this deep dive into mindfulness meditation.
Mindfulness meditation.
Yeah, we're going to be exploring
Okay.
Unraveling the Present,
Mm-hmm.
a mindfulness meditation guide by Tane Karat-Luller.
Oh, cool.
And this book kind of blends this ancient wisdom with modern insights, and it offers like a really practical guide
Okay.
to incorporating mindfulness into like your everyday life.
I like that a lot.
So are you ready to unpack all this?
I am.
Yeah,
I'm ready.
yeah.
I'm ready to unpack this.
Me too. Me too.
So where do we start?
Well, the book starts by taking us back to the origins of mindfulness.
Oh, okay.
And, I have to admit, I was surprised by the diverse roots. Like,
Yeah.
it's not just a Buddhist thing, is it?
No, not at all.
Oh, really?
Well, the term mindfulness, it's often associated with Buddhism,
Right.
but the underlying principles are actually found in various traditions across the globe.
Wow.
And, the book actually highlights sati.
What is that?
That's a concept from ancient India that emphasizes remembering the present moment.
Okay.
It was central to Buddhist teachings,
Right.
but similar ideas existed elsewhere too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So how do these ancient ideas connect with mindfulness as we understand it today?
Well, for instance, in early Christianity,
Ah.
the mystics practiced hesychasm,
I've heard of that.
seeking inner stillness for communion with the divine.
Mm.
And it's striking how, sati in Buddhism, focusing on present moment awareness,
Right.
kind of echoes this Christian practice.
Wow.
It suggests a universal human need to quiet the mind
Mm.
and connect with something deeper.
Okay, yeah, I see that.
Yeah.
Those are some fascinating connections.
Yeah.
But these traditions, they developed centuries ago.
Right.
So why is mindfulness experiencing such a resurgence today?
Well, think about the pace of our modern lives.
Oh, yeah?
We're constantly bombarded with information plugged in and on the go.
Mm-hmm.
This creates a fragmented mental state
Mm.
that fuels stress, anxiety, and just a total lack of focus.
I know, it's hard to sit still.
And mindfulness kind of offers a way to reclaim our attention
Okay.
and find stillness amidst all the chaos.
So it's not just about stress relief.
No,
It's about rewiring our brains for the modern world.
precisely.
Like,
The book goes into the theoretical knowledge behind mindfulness,
okay.
explaining the nature of the mind and the power of awareness.
Okay.
It challenges the notion that we are our thoughts,
Right.
suggesting that thoughts are more like passing clouds.
Mm.
We can observe them without getting carried away.
I like that analogy.
Yeah.
So, okay, the book describes the mind as a restless monkey,
Uh-huh.
always jumping from branch to branch.
Yeah.
But isn't that oversimplifying things?
Maybe a little.
Like, how do we reconcile this idea of a monkey mind with the concept of achieving a silent mind through mindfulness?
Oh, that's a great question.
Thank you.
The restless monkey analogy highlights the mind's tendency to wander, but it doesn't negate the possibility of achieving stillness through mindfulness.
Okay.
We learn to observe those thoughts without judgment, allowing them to arise and pass without dictating our experience.
So it's more about creating space between ourselves and our thoughts.
Exactly. We learn to recognize that thoughts are not facts.
Right.
They're simply mental events.
I see.
And as we develop awareness,
Uh-huh.
we can choose not to be ruled by them.
So it's like a choice.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
The book then dives into guided practices suggesting a variety of techniques for cultivating mindfulness.
Mm-hmm.
But with so many options,
Right.
where do we even begin?
Well, the beauty of mindfulness is that you can really start anywhere.
Oh,
Even simple breath awareness can be incredibly powerful.
okay.
The book describes techniques like ujjayi breathing.
What is that?
It's often called ocean breath because of the soft sound it creates in the back of the throat.
Oh.
It's very grounding and very calming practice. It's often used in yoga.
Ujjayi breathing.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
It sounds much more involved than just noticing your breath.
It is.
Is it difficult to learn?
Not at all.
Yeah.
It's about gently constricting the back of your throat as you breathe,
Oh,
creating that oceanic sound.
I see.
And it encourages slower, deeper breaths,
Huh?
which naturally calms the nervous system.
Oh,
But even basic breath awareness can be transformative.
yeah.
The key is to bring your full attention to the sensations of inhaling and exhaling,
Mm-hmm.
letting go of distracting thoughts as you focus on the breath.
Okay.
Yeah,
So even something as simple as breathing can be a gateway to mindfulness.
absolutely.
Wow.
It's about bringing awareness to something we usually do unconsciously.
Yeah.
This awareness, this sati,
Mhm.
is the foundation of all mindfulness practices.
Wow, okay, so sati is super important.
Yeah, right.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll try to remember that.
Yeah.
The book also talks about body scan meditations.
Yeah.
What are those like?
Body scan meditations are a fascinating way to develop like a deeper connection to your physical self.
Uh-huh.
And it involves systematically bringing your attention to different parts of your body,
Okay.
noticing any sensations that are present
Okay.
without judgment.
Mm-hmm.
You might notice warmth, tingling, pressure,
Wow.
or even just like a sense of spaciousness.
Okay.
Yeah,
It sounds like a way to tune into subtle signals our bodies are sending us.
exactly.
Is that the goal?
Yeah, we often go through our days disconnected from our bodies,
Yeah.
unaware of like the tension we're holding.
Oh, yeah.
Or the subtle cues that tell us we need rest or nourishment.
Yeah.
The body scan helps us reconnect and like listen to our body's wisdom.
That's a really interesting way to think about it.
Yeah.
It's like mindfulness isn't just about calming the mind.
Right.
It's also about fostering like a deeper relationship with our physical selves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the book explores this connection further, suggesting that by becoming more aware of our bodily sensations, we can learn to regulate our emotions more effectively.
Okay, I'm ready to hear more about that.
Yeah.
What exactly is the connection between body awareness and emotional regulation? You know?
Well, emotions often manifest physically, you know?
Huh.
Like when you're anxious, your heart might race, or you might feel tension in your shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
When you're sad, you might have a lump in your throat or experience fatigue.
Right.
By becoming more attuned to these sensations,
Yeah.
we can start to recognize our emotions earlier and respond to them more skillfully.
So instead of letting emotions kind of sweep us away,
Yeah,
we can use body awareness as a sort of early warning system.
precisely.
Okay.
It's like noticing the first rumble of thunder before a storm hits.
Right.
It gives us time to prepare to take shelter, so to speak.
Okay, that's a powerful image.
Yeah.
But the book also delves into more complex techniques like nadi shodhan
Yeah.
or alternate nostril breathing.
Uh-huh.
This isn't just about calming the mind, is it?
Well, Nadi Shodhan goes beyond simple relaxation.
Okay.
It's a subtle practice that aims to balance the energy flow in the body,
Oh.
represented by the Ida in Pingala nadis,
Okay,
which are energy channels according to yogic traditions.
I see.
By alternately breathing through each nostril, you're said to harmonize these energies,
Right.
leading to mental clarity and emotional balance.
So it's almost like we're tuning a delicate instrument.
That's a great analogy.
Oh, thanks.
And the book emphasizes that the effects of these practices are cumulative. The more we engage with them, the more subtle layers we begin to perceive.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, this is starting to make a lot of sense.
Good.
But the book also touches on the mystical dimension of mindfulness,
Uh-huh.
which seems like a big leap from simply paying attention to your breath.
It might seem that way initially, but remember,
Yeah.
mindfulness isn't just a set of techniques.
Right.
It's a path of self-discovery.
Okay.
And as we delve deeper into the practice, we start to touch upon a realm that transcends the thinking mind,
Okay.
a space of pure awareness that connects us to something larger than ourselves.
But how do we access this deeper reality?
Right.
Is it something we achieve through specific techniques?
It's not so much about achieving as it is about uncovering,
Okay.
peeling back layers of conditioning and habitual thinking to reveal the true nature of our being.
Oh, wow.
This mystical dimension unfolds naturally as we cultivate mindfulness.
Right.
It's not something you force,
Okay.
but rather something you allow to emerge.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm starting to understand.
Yeah.
But let's shift gears for a moment
Okay.
and talk about mindfulness in the context of psychology.
Right.
The book mentions its applications for managing anxiety, depression,
Mm-hmm.
and even trauma.
Yeah.
Is this something that's backed by science?
Absolutely. Mindfulness has become a valuable tool in psychotherapy and mental health treatment.
Okay.
For example, mindfulness-based stress reduction
MBSR.
and mindfulness-based cognitive therapy, MBCT,
Right.
are evidence-based programs that teach mindfulness techniques to help people cope with a wide range of challenges.
So it's not just ancient wisdom, there's actual research supporting the benefits of mindfulness.
Yes, numerous studies have shown that mindfulness practices can reduce anxiety and depression symptoms, improve sleep quality,
Wow.
and enhance emotional regulation.
Okay.
It's not a cure-all,
Right.
but it offers a powerful set of tools for managing mental and emotional well-being.
That's really impressive.
Yeah.
But I'm curious about the concept of acceptance in mindfulness,
Mm-hmm.
which seems counterintuitive when you're dealing with like difficult emotions or situations.
Yeah.
How can we possibly just accept things that cause us pain or suffering.
Well, acceptance in mindfulness doesn't mean resignation or passivity.
Okay.
It's about acknowledging our experience without judgment or resistance.
Okay.
Instead of fighting against our emotions or trying to push them away,
Right.
we create space for them to simply be present.
So it's more about making peace with our internal experience
Yeah.
rather than trying to change it.
Exactly. When we resist our emotions, we actually amplify their power over us. But when we accept them with compassion, we create the conditions for them to transform and ultimately dissolve.
Okay, I'm starting to grasp this concept of acceptance,
Good.
but the book also emphasizes the importance of non-judgment.
Right.
Isn't that incredibly difficult?
It is challenging.
Yeah.
We're constantly evaluating and labeling our experiences.
Right.
It's almost like second nature.
Yeah, it is.
But remember, mindfulness is a practice, not a destination.
Okay.
Non-judgment involves becoming aware of those judgments as they arise without getting caught up in them.
Oh,
We
yeah.
simply notice them as mental events like clouds passing through the sky.
So it's more about recognizing those judgments as they arise
Yeah.
and then choosing not to get carried away by them.
Precisely. We're not trying to stop our minds from judging,
Right.
but rather creating a space between the judgment and our reaction to it. In that space, we have the freedom to choose how we want to respond.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But the book also connects mindfulness to body awareness.
Right.
What's the significance of that link?
Our bodies are constantly sending us signals, but we're often too distracted to notice them.
Right.
Mindfulness helps us tune into those subtle messages,
Uh-huh.
enabling us to better understand our physical and emotional needs.
It's like we're developing a deeper language for communicating with our bodies.
Exactly.
Wow.
For instance, through body scan meditations, we might become aware of tension we're holding in our shoulders or a tightness in our chest.
Right.
This awareness allows us to explore the root of these sensations
Uh-huh.
and take steps to address them.
So body awareness isn't just about relaxation. It's about gaining valuable insights into our overall well-being.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what about those more subtle sensations, the ones that aren't necessarily pain or tension, but just feelings?
Yeah.
Are those important too?
Absolutely. Mindfulness invites us to pay attention to the full spectrum of our sensory experience.
Wow.
From the tingling in our fingertips to the warmth of the sun on our skin.
Okay.
By becoming more attuned to these subtle sensations, we awaken to the richness of the present moment and cultivate a deeper appreciation for the world around us.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
Yeah.
But the book also addresses something called the inner critic.
Right.
That voice in our heads that tells us we're not good enough,
Yeah.
not smart enough,
Yeah.
not worthy enough.
I know that voice.
How does mindfulness help us deal with that?
The inner critic can be a powerful force, undermining our confidence and self-esteem.
Right.
Mindfulness helps us recognize this voice as a pattern of thinking and not an absolute truth.
Okay.
By observing those thoughts without judgment, we can start to challenge their validity and create space for more self-compassionate perspectives.
So it's about standing up to that inner bully and recognizing that its words don't define us.
Exactly. Mindfulness gives us the tools to do just that. We learn to observe those thoughts without judgment,
Right.
to see them as just thoughts, and to choose not to believe them.
Okay, that's incredibly empowering.
It is.
But how do we actually challenge those negative thoughts when they arise?
Right.
It seems like they have a way of sneaking up on us.
One technique is to use evidence.
Okay.
Ask yourself, is there any real evidence to support this thought?
Right.
Or is it just my inner critic trying to bring me down?
Okay.
Another approach is to reframe the thought.
Okay.
Can you look at the situation from a different perspective, one that's more balanced and compassionate?
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And what about when those negative thoughts are really persistent?
Right.
When they keep coming back, no matter how hard we try to push them away?
Remember, mindfulness is a practice, not a perfection.
Right.
Just like training a puppy, it takes time and repetition to learn new behaviors.
Okay.
Be patient with yourself and don't get discouraged when those negative thoughts pop up. Gently guide your attention back to the present moment and continue practicing non-judgmental awareness.
That's a helpful analogy.
Yeah.
But I'm also curious about how mindfulness can improve our relationships with others.
Mm-hmm.
The book mentions its impact on communication and conflict resolution.
Yeah.
How does that work?
When we're not mindful, we're often distracted, lost in our own thoughts, not truly listening to the other person.
Right.
Mindfulness helps us become more present and attuned to the people we care about, enhancing our ability to listen deeply and respond with empathy and understanding.
So it's about shifting our focus from our own internal dialogue To genuinely connecting with the person in front of us.
Precisely. And that shift creates a space for authentic connection.
Oh.
The other person feels heard, seen, and understood, which can make a huge difference in the quality of our interactions.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And what about conflict?
Right.
We all experience disagreements with the people we care about.
Yeah.
How can mindfulness help us navigate those challenging situations?
Mindfulness teaches us to approach conflict with more awareness and skill.
Okay.
Instead of reacting defensively or getting caught up in the heat of the moment,
Right.
we learn to pause,
Okay.
to take a breath,
Yeah.
to observe our own emotions and the emotions of the other person.
It's about responding rather than reacting.
Exactly. And that pause, that moment of mindfulness can make all the difference.
Okay.
It allows us to choose how we want to respond rather than letting our emotions dictate our behavior.
Okay. I'm starting to see how mindfulness can be a game changer in relationships.
Yeah.
But I'm also intrigued by its applications in the workplace. The book mentions its potential to reduce stress, improve focus,
Right.
and even enhance creativity.
Yeah.
How does that translate into a corporate setting?
Mindfulness is becoming increasingly popular in the workplace, and for good reason.
Okay.
Some companies offer mindfulness training programs to help employees manage stress and improve focus. Others encourage mindfulness practices during the workday, like short meditation breaks or mindful walking meetings.
Oh, so that's about creating a more mindful culture at work.
Exactly. And that can have a ripple effect not only on individual well-being, but also on team dynamics, communication, and overall job satisfaction.
It seems like mindfulness isn't just a personal practice. It has the potential to positively impact our communities and even society as a whole.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Mindfulness is about cultivating awareness, compassion, and wise action.
Right.
And when we bring those qualities into the world, we create a ripple effect that can benefit everyone.
Okay. I'm feeling really inspired by all of this.
Good.
But I have to admit, I'm still a bit overwhelmed by the sheer scope of mindfulness.
Yeah,
Seems like it touches on so many aspects of life.
it does.
Yeah.
But remember, you don't have to do everything at once.
Right.
Start small, choose one practice that resonates with you, and see how it feels.
Okay.
Be patient with yourself. Mindfulness is a journey, not a destination.
That's really reassuring.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say I'm ready to start practicing mindfulness.
Okay.
What are some simple things I can do to incorporate it into my daily life?
One of the easiest and most accessible practices is mindful breathing.
Okay.
You can do this anywhere, anytime.
All right.
Just take a few moments to focus on your breath, feeling the sensations of the inhale and exhale.
Mm-hmm.
Notice the rise and fall of your chest or abdomen.
Okay, that seems simple enough.
Yeah.
But what about when my mind starts to wander?
Yeah.
Which I'm sure it will.
That's perfectly normal.
Okay.
The mind is wired to wander.
Right.
When you notice your mind has drifted away,
Yeah.
just gently guide it back to the breath.
Okay.
It's like training a muscle. The more you practice, the easier it becomes.
Okay, I can do that.
Bold.
What are some other simple practices I can try?
Another great practice is mindful walking.
Okay.
Instead of rushing from point A to point B,
Right.
take a few moments to slow down and really pay attention to the sensations of walking. Feel the ground beneath your feet, the movement of your legs, the rhythm of your breath.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah,
It's like turning an everyday activity into a mindful experience.
exactly. And you can do that with any activity,
Yeah.
whether it's eating, showering, or even washing the dishes.
Okay.
Just bring your full attention to the task at hand,
Mm-hmm.
noticing the sensations, the thoughts, the emotions that arise.
Okay, I'm starting to see how mindfulness can be woven into the fabric of our lives.
Good.
But what about those times when I'm feeling really stressed or overwhelmed?
Right.
Are there any specific practices that can help with that?
Absolutely. One technique is called the STOP practice.
What's that?
It's an acronym that stands for stop what you're doing,
Okay.
take a breath, observe your thoughts, feelings, and sensations,
Mm-hmm.
and proceed with awareness.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
It's a simple but powerful reminder to pause and check in with ourselves when we're feeling stressed.
Exactly. And even just a few moments of mindful awareness can make a big difference in how we respond to challenging situations.
Okay. I'm feeling more and more confident about incorporating mindfulness into my life.
Great.
But I have one more question.
Great.
The book talks about the importance of self-compassion.
Yeah.
Why is that so essential in mindfulness practice?
Well, mindfulness is about becoming aware of our experience without judgment.
Right.
And that includes being kind and compassionate with ourselves,
Okay.
especially when we're struggling.
So it's about treating ourselves with the same kindness and understanding that we would offer a good friend.
Exactly. And that can be really challenging, especially if we're used to being self-critical or judgmental.
Okay, I can relate to that.
Yeah.
But how do we actually cultivate self-compassion?
One practice is to use affirmations.
Okay.
When you notice the inner critic starting to chatter, try repeating phrases like, may I be kind to myself. May I be patient with myself. May I be understanding with myself.
Okay, that's a beautiful practice.
Yeah.
It's like we're offering ourselves a hug, a moment of comfort and support.
Exactly. And over time, those affirmations can start to shift our inner dialogue from self-criticism to self-compassion.
Okay, this is all making so much sense.
Good.
But before we wrap up, I have one final question.
Okay.
The book talks about the silent mind.
Mm-hmm.
What is that?
Right.
And how do we access it?
Ah, yes, the silent mind. It's that place of stillness and clarity that lies beneath the constant chatter of thoughts. It's our true nature, our essence.
Wow.
The source of peace and wisdom.
Okay, I'm intrigued. But how do we get there?
Mindfulness practices are the key.
Okay.
Through meditation, breathwork, body awareness, and all the other techniques we've discussed,
Yeah.
we gradually quiet the mind and create space for that silence to emerge.
So it's not about forcing our minds to be silent, but about creating the conditions for silence to naturally arise.
Precisely. And as we spend more time in that silent space, we tap into a deeper level of awareness, a profound sense of peace and connection.
Wow, that's a beautiful image. I'm starting to see that mindfulness is more than just a set of techniques. It's a path to self-discovery, to awakening to our true nature.
Exactly. And it's a path that's available to everyone. No matter who you are, where you come from, or what your beliefs are, mindfulness can help you live a more fulfilling and meaningful life.
Okay. I'm feeling really inspired. I'm ready to dive into this mindfulness journey.
I'm glad to hear that.
But before we wrap up, is there anything else you want to share from the book?
I think the most important message is this: mindfulness is a practice, not a perfection. Be kind to yourself, be patient with yourself, and enjoy the journey. The benefits will unfold naturally over time.
That's great advice. And I have to say, this deep dive has been incredibly eye-opening.
I'm glad.
I'm feeling a renewed sense of curiosity and excitement about exploring mindfulness further.
I think that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's great that you're feeling those connections. Mindfulness is a really personal journey.
Yep.
And I think that's what makes Unraveling the Present such an engaging guide. It speaks to both the practical and the profound aspects of mindfulness, making it accessible to anyone, regardless of their background or beliefs.
You're right. It doesn't shy away from those mystical aspects, but it also grounds the practice in like tangible techniques and everyday applications.
Right.
And one thing that particularly resonated with me was the section on focused awareness meditations.
Okay.
I've tried breath awareness and body scans, but the idea of using our senses as anchors for mindfulness is new to me.
It's a powerful way to train the mind to be present.
Okay.
Instead of trying to block out all distractions, we intentionally focus our attention on a specific sensory experience,
Okay.
like the feeling of the sun on our skin or the taste of each bite of food.
So instead of fighting those distractions, we're gently redirecting our attention.
Exactly. And in doing so, we cultivate a deeper appreciation for the richness of our sensory experience.
Okay.
It's like we're waking up to the world anew,
Wow.
noticing details we might have otherwise overlooked.
That's a beautiful way to describe it. But before we wrap up, I want to circle back to the mystical dimension of mindfulness.
Okay.
I'm still grappling with what that means in practice.
It's understandable that this concept might seem a bit elusive. It's not something you can grasp with like the intellect alone.
Right.
It's more of an experiential unfolding, a gradual awakening to a deeper reality that often transcends words.
So how does this awakening occur? Is there a specific path we need to follow?
It's less about following a prescribed path and more about creating the conditions for this deeper awareness to emerge.
Okay.
As we deepen our mindfulness practice, as we quiet the mind and open our hearts to the present moment, we begin to glimpse a sense of interconnectedness, a profound feeling of unity with all things.
That sounds both profound and a little intimidating.
Yeah.
And it's something everyone experiences through mindfulness practice?
It's not necessarily a singular experience or a destination you arrive at. It's more like a subtle shift in perception, a gradual unveiling of a deeper reality that's always present but often obscured by our thoughts and distractions.
I think this is what makes mindfulness so captivating. It offers both practical benefits and the potential for profound transformation.
Precisely. And it invites us to embrace the mystery, to trust the process, and to remain open to the unfolding of our own unique journey.
Well said. And on that note, I think it's time to bring this deep dive to a close. But before we do, I want to remind you, our listener, that mindfulness is a practice, not a perfection. Be patient with yourself, experiment with different techniques, and discover what resonates with you most deeply.
And remember, the book describes the mind as a restless monkey, constantly jumping from branch to branch. But what are the branches your mind tends to jump to most often? What are the thoughts, the worries, the distractions that keep you from experiencing the peace and clarity of the present moment? This is a question worth pondering as you continue your mindfulness journey.
That's a wonderful thought to leave our listeners with. A gentle reminder to cultivate awareness of our own mental patterns. And with that, we want to thank you for joining us on this deep dive into mindfulness meditation. We hope you found it insightful, inspiring, and maybe even a little bit transformative. Until next time, keep practicing, keep exploring, and keep unraveling the present moment.